Hey guys, I'm back, and in your time, it's probably like a week, or maybe it's 5 minutes, I don't know. But in my time, I've been sitting here making the past 3 videos in a row. That is my washing machine. I'm in my garage. This is where I'm filming it because this is where it's quietest. My kids are taken care of by my sisters. They are amazing, so you don't have to worry about, like, where is this woman's kids right now? They're perfectly taken care of inside. And the door's right there, so they can hear me. So today I want to talk about, stress. I want to talk about stress. You don't need to stress constantly when you are pumping. When you're pumping, if you sit there and stress about it, which I have done just time and time and time again, where I would just get really paranoid and I'd get really stressed out, and when I got really stressed out, it like cut my milk production in half, which is not good. Now, I was very lucky that I had some stuff in there, some milk stashed away, so it's not like she didn't have any, but for some reason I got really freaked out and I would start stressing about it a ton, and I would start thinking that I needed to get on all these supplements and stuff, which you don't need. And by the way, formula is not the devil. You can have formula. It's not going to kill your baby to have formula. So if you're not producing quite what the baby needs, it's okay to supplement with formula. I know when my baby, I thought she had low iron, so I got like really freaked out, and we started giving her just like a little bit of iron formula in her stuff. So I like freaked out about the formula in her food because I felt like a horrible person that I couldn't produce the iron that she needed, even though it didn't matter how much iron consumption I had, it wasn't going to affect her iron. So it's not, I know it sounds just like the worst thing on the planet not to be able to produce enough for the baby to eat. But there's nothing wrong with you. You're doing the best you can, and it's not gonna kill them. It's completely fine. It's okay to give them formula. And that's what everybody had to tell me, and golly, I needed to hear it. It's okay to give them formula. So if you're sitting there and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're pumping, don't stress about it. Just keep a container of formula that you like kind of in the cabinet, just in case. And just in case that you don't produce, you don't have to stress about it. So when I stopped stressing about it, I was like, you know what? If she has to eat formula and I'm not producing it, she'll just have to eat formula because there's nothing I can do to further this milk production. So when I stopped stressing about it, my milk doubled its original. And now, I'm not a professional, so it may be different for you. But when I relaxed and I really took my time and I just said whatever with it, it's going to be whatever it is. And I'm going to have to deal with it. And I just accepted it mentally in every way. And I actually got a lot more milk than I thought for just not stressing. And anytime like my milk would just deplete, everyone's like, oh my God, you're stressing about it. Just stop stressing already. And then, you know, I come to the conclusion that there's plenty in there, and if I dry up tomorrow, I'll be fine. And 8 months going, it's pretty good. And it does get easier from the first couple of months. The first, like, 3 months or so, it is just really stressful, and it really doesn't need to be, but it just seems like really stressful. You're constantly worried about whether or not you're going to produce for your baby, and you just don't need to stress. When now, here at 8 months, I'm almost 8 months, about 7.5. Looking at it, I'm like, there was really no reason to stress in the first place. It's fine. Don't feel guilty is another thing. My mom has to constantly tell me this all the time, not to feel guilty. I constantly feel guilty when I am pumping and my sister or my mom gets up and feeds my daughter, and I feel extremely guilty, like I'm missing out on something. And something that I've really thought about that my mom told me a long time ago was, when you are pumping, you are spending time with the baby. You are producing for her, so don't stress about the fact that you're not physically sitting with her in the moment. And if you do have a little bit of that guilt and separation, you can always set the baby next to you. Like, get a little swing or whatever, or, you know, move your stuff. At the time, my plug-in was only in one spot, and it wasn't anywhere where she had any, like, toys or anything. So it was in the dining room, and there's like a computer in the dining room, and there's a hookup to the computer. There was no other spot in the house that my pump would go to at the time, because I had like this little bitty one. I don't think it's made for like exclusively pumping, like to be used as much as I did. And it was a single pump, but it was that was the one I used, and there was nowhere else to plug it in at. So I couldn't really bring her in the dining room every time I wanted to pump, because her bed was, you know, in her room. So when she would wake up and cry, and I would feel so guilty if I was sitting there pumping. You don't need to feel guilty. It's okay, you're making the food for the baby. And it does make it easier if you kind of time out, because, you know, you pump, so it's not when the baby's hungry that you pump, it's on a schedule. So if you know that they get hungry at 10 o'clock, then always pump at 9 o'clock, so that way the milk is ready for when they're ready to eat. I did that when she was in the hospital. I would always pump an hour before she had to eat, which made me where I pumped every 2 hours. And I did that for about 7 months. No, 6 months. I did that for about 6 months. But I pumped every 2 hours, so that way I could have time to run it up to the hospital for her to eat. So you can do that, and you can get kind of on the schedule. Now I fell back a little bit into 2 to 3 hours kind of period time, which kind of overlaps sometimes with her eating or her being awake or whatever. And as they get older, you know, they're awake more, so not always are they going to be asleep when you're pumping. But, you know, you can, if you have a pump that is where you can move it around, just like kind of set it up in the living room and set them like a little swing or whatever there, and that way if you feel bad about it, you don't have to, because, you know, you're still spending time with your baby, you're just not physically holding them. And that's okay, that you're not physically holding them 24 hours of the day, that you set them down for a minute, you know. Take that pumping time as like your time. I know after, as long as I've been doing it, that's like my time. I cry just thinking about letting it go, because that's the time that I spend to myself. Every evening, right before bed, even after all my kids are asleep, I just sit down at about midnight every night, and I just take 30 minutes that I just can't, I have no other excuse to take 30 minutes. Normally, I would just go to bed because I'm exhausted, but it kind of forces me to have that time to myself in the evenings, just by myself. Even after they're all asleep, it forces me to have a little time, and that's something you need. You need a little bit of time to yourself. You need time to relax and time to go to the bathroom, and it's okay if somebody watches them while you take a nap or something. It's fine. You're okay. You're doing awesome, Mom. You're doing awesome. And it's okay that you're not holding your baby 24/7 and you're not like glued face to your baby. It's fine. You're doing wonderful. So just keep that in mind when you are pumping. Just, you don't have to be focused on your baby. I mean, you don't, okay. You don't have to be focused on holding your baby. That's what I meant to say. Holding your baby 24/7. Now, holding your baby is completely great. I want you to hold your baby. But taking time to yourself, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Let's just drop it all right now. Drop the guilt about it. You have time to yourself. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, your pumping time. Watch some Netflix in that time. That's what I always do. I watch some TV, I eat me some food, and I drink some water. And I watch Friends over and over again. I watch the show Friends. When I pump, that's what I watch, and it's relaxing. It makes me happy. If I find a show that I find really interesting, I'll watch that one for a little bit, but ultimately it all comes back to Friends. So just watch some Friends, feel good, watch the show, and hopefully this helped you guys with your pumping experience, and maybe we can help you some more in another video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.